YouTube, how's it going? John here at Herman Woodworks. Gonna get back into a woodworking project. Got the fresh haircut. It's getting hot here in Northeast Ohio, but need a spot to hang some coats, hang hats, gloves, store stuff from the winter, all that. So while it is great to put together something new and do a woodworking project, we're gonna actually do a little bit on one here. My favorite thing is finding freebies, finding stuff on the side of the road that you can repurpose, reuse. You win some, you lose some. But let's see what I found. All right, so I was driving down the road and found this guy sitting there on the side of the road with a free sign on it. It's not exactly how I would have built it, but what we're gonna do is adjust some of the bottom pieces so that it can have some fabric square like holders that we like store gloves and stuff in. I'm debating whether I want to cut off the top part. I think I'm just going to leave it whole like it is, and then I'm going to put hats across the top, go from there. And what I'm going to do is trim this bottom part, like carve this out and put some hooks across here, so that'll actually be the true bottom for hanging coats. This one was a total win. Normally you don't find stuff like this. You know, probably 9 times out of 10 you pull over, see something, it's probably something garbagey, particle board, something like this. Someone way overbuilt this thing. This is 3/4 inch oak plywood. This thing is super duper overbuilt. They didn't get crazy and do joinery or anything like that. It's mostly just small nails, but they have this little light on here that does not work. I think it was sitting outside a little, but I'm gonna save the cord. It's almost a 30-foot long 12-aught cord, so we'll save that. Probably could use it for something. But so what we're gonna do, first off, let's get this ripped off, and yeah, we'll look at it from there. All right, so got the light ripped off, got the wire off. Like I said, going to keep the wire. The light's junk. It's an old glass bulb type system. It's just going to be produce too much heat. Don't need it. We can get something like an LED if I wanted to go that route, but we're just going to keep it simple like this. So what I'm probably going to do is down here in the corners, probably just going to saw this at an angle, unless I decide to get fancy with the jigsaw, kind of give it a little angle. This piece is going to get ripped out underneath. It's got the full oak on the back too. Got a hole through it where he had brought the wire through before, but that's okay. We can choose to patch it if we want with one of the pieces. But we'll take this piece out. Also, we're going to trim this piece up. The way they have it nailed, the way they had it nailed here to help keep the support of it, we'll just take this and either take a router and get a little funny with it, give it a little shape, or just a jigsaw or one of our saws. We'll get it out of there, and probably going to do the same thing up here, just to free up some available space, because you can see it kind of goes up. I understand it for the support, but it didn't need to come down that far. Just hogging up some real estate. Ultimately, we'll do that. We're going to get this thing sanded down, because I'm not really super hip on like the country oak type look. Sand it down, make it something dark, and we'll go from there. All right, so gonna get the other saw, finish cutting these up the rest of the way so I can knock those down, take those chunks out where it's nailed in from the other side. The only other thing I'm gonna do real quick is when I cut these up, I'm gonna take the pull saw and just cut this in, cut this across so that it's nice and clean looking like that. If I need to, right in the innermost corner there, we'll clean it up with a little chisel. All right, really starting to make some progress. Got these pieces all ripped out. The only unfortunate thing is the individual that had this before me, a lot of this face trim that they had on here is not glued. So some of these were pliable, we'll say. So debating whether I want to take them off, glue them down, re-nail them down like the way they did. Trying to decide how involved I want to get with this. So probably going to do something like that, but it's getting late. So just got this to a point right now, and we'll pick it up again here tomorrow probably. All right, so quick tip for anybody ripping out brad nails like I was just doing. It'd be much easier if I had this vise down, but for the time being, pretty much any set of pliers, vice grips, if you grab it down low, and especially take the curved part of the wrench and just kind of roll it back. You might have to, depending on how long they have it, might have to grab it twice. Pops out. Like I said, that would have been way easier if I had it vice grip down, or I mean clamp down. But also this 3/4 inch oak definitely got a pretty good grip on these things. So I'm going to go ahead and open all these, get all of them placed, and get the holes pre-drilled for those. That way I don't have to make any kind of marks once I actually have it sanded and finished. So that way we'll just be good to go. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let that harden up overnight, and then tomorrow we'll hit it probably with like a polyurethane or something. I gotta treat it, especially I'm gonna be probably hanging my wet clothes and stuff on it, so I gotta make sure it's a little protected. So we'll take care of that tomorrow. All right, YouTube. So went ahead and put 2 coats of polyurethane on this. That's boring stuff. You didn't need to see this. I'm really happy how the coloration turned out on this. Now it's time to get this thing hung up on the wall. So on the wall, went ahead and established the line where I want the bottom of it to go. Have it pre-marked for where my studs are. Oop. So, yep. That way it's a lot easier to get the marks on there now than try and figure it out while you're holding it there. So, all right, so got all my marks made, got the holes kind of pre-drilled. With these, technically I don't need to pre-drill them, but just makes it lining everything up easier. If you guys haven't used these GRK fasteners, get them at most home improvement places. These are the cat's meow. I tend to overuse them for a lot of things. They're actually structurally rated. They come with the weight designations and what they could handle for each screw size. Here, when I built the last workshop, these actually are approved. They've been, like I said, structurally tested. These things are great. Totally overkill, but gonna go ahead and use them anyways because I'm gonna hang a lot of clothes on this and I don't want it ripping off the wall. Here's a little better view of what these actually look like. These things will self-pilot themselves. They do the trick. All right, got it hanging on the wall. Use the structural screws down here, or lags, whatever you want to call them. Use those down here. Just use some regular screws up top because they're not actually holding anything structurally more. It's just so it doesn't tip away from the wall. But held off on putting the coat hooks on because the screws are just long enough where they'll just tip into the drywall, so I didn't want them on there until after we got this done. So I'm going to go ahead and zip those on, and that's pretty much it. All right, YouTube, boom, there it is. Like I said, these are tied up on here, but they're just hanging a hook over. For anybody that's wondering, it was a semi-gloss polyurethane that was put on there. A little shiny, I know, for some people's liking, but overall, I kind of like the two-tone with the like original oak look, and then the dark, it was the Kona. All right, let's get some stuff hung on this thing. All right, just a quick video kind of showing how it all turned out with some of the actual hats and coats and stuff like that. It's already starting to accumulate some mess on there, but exactly what I built it for. Couldn't be happier. All right, YouTube, that wraps it up for this one. Once again, the point of this was repurposing something that I found on the side of the road. Couple side notes on repurposing. Not everything is worth picking up. It might be particle board, maybe it was out in the rain for a little bit. You're not going to want to deal with any of that headache. Other side note, might be on the side of the road for a reason other than that too. When we lived in Hawaii, we had a friend pick up a coffee table. Lo and behold, he didn't realize that it had some termites in it. Next thing you know, it filled his apartment with termites. You don't want to deal with that headache. So be careful what you pick up. Make sure you inspect it over before you waste your time bringing it home and starting to turn it into a project here. But once again, I'm always about reducing, reusing, recycling something. In this case, it was oak plywood. I wouldn't have went and bought this just for this project, but I'm super happy on how it turned out. So, you know, if you guys are new to this channel and you did a project, something like this, post up some pictures. I'd love to see them. I try to respond to everybody's stuff, but all right, YouTube, as always, it was awesome. If you guys are new, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you again soon.